have been associated to MSRI for since 1992 or more or less, so that's 20 years. So you were first on the scientific committee, and then chair of that scientific committee, and then on the board also. So could you explain these? I mean, I think it was an exciting period because.
Well, I've always found MSRI an incredibly exciting place to be involved with. I mean, partly because being on the East Coast, you go to this fabulous place overlooking the bay, and it's sunny and it's warm, and it's just a different environment. But also, there's a real excitement about mathematics there. All the sort of grungy everyday details that you have to deal with as a faculty member, they're not there anymore. And you can think about the future and the sort of how to make progress. And then I came at a very exciting time, because I think when I came was very soon after Bill Thurston had come as director, and he had a lot of wonderful ideas about how, about mathematics as a community, about the importance of education, about how to build mathematical communities, and just a whole set of ideas about how the Institute could function and really function in the mathematical scene in America. And also, the Scientific Advisory Committee is a really nice committee to be on, because you actually make decisions and they have an effect. Most committees you're on, you read papers and you talk and this and that, and nothing happens. But MSRI, you decide what the programs are, you decide what the people are. You can talk to the administration if you'd like a certain, more of a certain kind of person to be invited. So it's a really rewarding committee to be on. When I was chair of the Scientific Advisory Committee, other people had a lot of good ideas for programs. I don't think I designed a program. On the other hand, I enjoyed sort of coordinating the viewpoints, and it was also an opportunity to try and promote women and just promote a sort of a variety of different kinds of mathematics. So I've always enjoyed that. And then I was chair of the board, and that was a time, I remember just before I became chair, it was a time when we started fundraising, which was a real shock to people in the mathematical community, because one of the attractions of doing mathematics is you don't have to be worried about money. And here we had this development director. This was actually, I think even Bill Thurston had started trying to get money. We were just baby steps of how you could possibly approach these bankers and people and ask for money. That's such a difficult thing to do. NSF supported MSRI, and there were places like the Institute. They'd already got their endowment. People weren't so actively, as far as I was aware, raising money, because I was, after all, at a state university. The state provided the money. I came from Britain, where the state at that time provided all money for academia. I was not used to the idea of fundraising, and I can tell you that most of the mathematicians at MSRI were not used to the idea of fundraising either. But we had some amazing people on the board who were in the world of finance, or venture capitalists, or they kept trying to educate us about how you have to have a mission statement, you had to have financial plans, you had to how to present yourself, what kind of tie the director should wear. I mean, just all kinds of things, which I never felt. I mean, I never had to do any of that really myself. But I certainly encouraged it, because it seemed very necessary. And you also needed good ideas about, how to make mathematics interesting to a community like that. And people were willing to come up with ideas of that kind. And it wasn't so hard, because quite a few of the bankers had mathematical backgrounds. So some of them even had a fondness for it, so you could appeal to that. So it was sort of interesting being involved in a very different world.